Eagles, bringing you back into hour number 3 on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Leah Musgrave in the host chair this morning, filling in for Gabe Bach. We're going to go straight out right now to the 12th Man Technology video hotline for the third week in a row, and we're going to touch base with former Texas A&M quarterback turned tight end and a bunch of other things, Jamie McCoy. Jamie, how's it going? Thanks so much for hanging out with us this morning.
For having me.
So, Jamie, first things first, gotta wish you a happy belated birthday. I know your birthday was on Tuesday, and this is my favorite thing to do with guests who I've never had on before, and that is I have to make you feel old. So I remind Stephen McGee of this pretty much every single week. My first Aggie football game was a home game versus Missouri in 2006, which I believe was either your freshman year or your sophomore year at A&M, and I was 9 years old. And so here we are, full circle, 14 years later, having this conversation. So had to throw that in there for you. So did I make you feel old yet?
Oh, I feel old for sure. 9 years old. I can't believe that. That's funny.
Does it feel like you were here does it feel like ages ago that you were on A&M's campus, or does it feel like so much life has happened since then?
Man, since then, I've had kids and whatnot now. So there's times where it feels like it's been ages, but at the same time, I still remember going to Northgate. I still remember the parties and stuff that we did. Like, it seems like it was yesterday, but at the same time, it does feel so long ago. And every time I go back, there's some new building or something new that the campus is added. I'm just like, goodness, have I been gone this long? But yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Do you ever get to make it down for games regularly, or have you been to College Station recently?
Oh, yeah. I make it down for at least one game every year. And then there's a group of buddies. We have a friend that's up in South Carolina. So whenever we trade off going back and forth each year. So he'll come down. Last year he came down for the A&M game. And then this year I'm guessing we'll go up to South Carolina. But, yeah, I make it to one game at least every year. Got to get some lanes and all that.
Lanes, man. Let me tell you, that is something that I've been eating since I was a little kid. And now here we are. And yeah. Trying to lay off the lanes for a while because my body doesn't need it, but I am with you on that one.
I hear you. Yeah, I got to get down there and give me a club. It's making me think about it now.
Well, sorry to make you hungry, but Jamie, let's dive in a little bit here. You're an offensive mind, and today we're going to look at some of the young skill talent in the Aggie offense, assuming we've got some football to look forward to in the coming weeks. So before we dive deeper here, I know you're an eternal optimist, and I am too, so I think we're gonna get along great. But with the favorable schedule and just the talent that's returning, the coordinators that are returning, what's exciting you most about A&M football right now?
I would say just honestly the schedule. The last 2 years, like I said, I think the first time I was on, we've had one of the toughest schedules, and we're always up for a challenge. But knowing that our not our conference schedule, but our non-conference, that was going to be a little bit easier for us this year. And then all the tough games, well, not all of them, but most of them, we had them at home this year. Kellen's a senior. Jimbo's getting established. Elko's doing his thing. It's like, I felt like this year is just we're primed and ready. Everybody says, oh, A&M thinks they're going to have it this year. I felt like this was the year it's going to happen. And then you got Corona hit, and it's like, come on, are the guys laughing at us, or what's the deal?
I think they might be. But as we kind of look around, maybe the weapons around Kellen Mond, first we've got to talk about Kellen Mond. So as a former quarterback, year 3 as the starter in Jimbo's offense, when you look at Kellen Mond, what's your honest assessment of the progression that you've seen from Kellen in the past? And then what are your expectations for him as he enters his senior season?
Man, I think he's grown so much. When he first started out, I'll be honest, I wanted him to be a bit more decisive. I really wanted him to run and use his leg, which I can't say that he's been coached to do otherwise, but as a fan, I'd always be like, man, you got the talent to run. Sometimes you need to just pull that thing down and get us a first down and keep the chains moving. But as he's progressed throughout the years, I think he's grown a lot. Just his confidence, his ball placement. I think back to that LSU game, that 7 overtime. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to go out there, especially on fourth down, third down, whatever it may be, overtime, when you gotta have it, 2-point conversions, gotta have it, and make all the plays that he made. So coming into this year, I'm expecting a guy, last year with the what was it? The SEC days where he made the statement that he's the best quarterback in the league. I'm expecting that same confidence, but I'm expecting him to come out and like put it on display. He's been in Jimbo's deal. He should be able to come out, have the young guys the little pieces that we've added and the ones that we got around, Osborne and whatnot. I'm expecting him to come out and just deliver for us. Keep the chains moving, like I said. Offense, go out and get us leads in games, and then our defense allow Elko to kind of dial up some stuff and have a comfortable game. Let us be in the stands, which I don't know if we'll be in the stands, but if we're watching, whatever the case may be, let us be comfortable. A lot of these games, it's like you biting your nails, we're back and forth and needing plays and whatnot. So I'm hoping this year's just smooth sailing and he's delivering on all fronts.
Well, he undoubtedly is the most experienced quarterback in the SEC. But Jamie, I'm curious, what do you think maybe is the next step for Kellen? How does he take that leap and go from good to great?
I think you got to eliminate turnovers. You can't be fumbling the ball, no interceptions. And like I said, you got to know when to throw it away, when to get off the field and let your punt team come out and pin them deep, and really just making the best decisions. I want to see him having good stat lines, maybe somewhere 250 to 350 yards a game, maybe 2-3 touchdowns a game, and just be building. I don't want to see any step backs this year. So I think he can, and I think he's very capable of doing that.
So I'd love to kind of get into what we've got around Kellen Mond here. So let's start with the core of wide receivers, because Jamon Osborne, A&M's most productive receiver, is returning. Cam Buckley's returning. Plus, A&M goes out and gets the number one wide receiver in the country in Damon Demas, and there's some other pieces coming in as well with Moose Muhammad and Devin Price. Just, Jamie, what's your overall assessment of the wide receiver core on A&M's roster right now?
I think we got a chance to make some noise at receiver. Like I said, Kellen, he puts the ball where he needs to. I know that Jimbo has the offense and they matriculate the ball downfield. I love Osborne to be more consistent. He was great last year. He's been great his whole career. But I like to see no drop from him. Buckley's always been good. Like you said with Demas, I can't wait to see him make some of those athletic plays I've seen him doing at the little camps and 7-on-7 deals he's done. It'd be great for us to be able to get in the red zone and throw some of those jump balls and just see our guy come down with it. And outside of those guys and the young guys that you mentioned, I'm excited to see. I remember watching their film when they were coming in. I like to see I think it's Caleb Chapman,
Chapman,
something like that. Guy. And then I remember being very impressed with Cam Brown's film. So I like to see him get some action as well. I know we had Anias out there last year, and I know he went into the backfield, but he was one of those guys who every time he touched the ball, he was electrifying. So I'm excited to see whether it's Buckley, Demas, whoever it is. I want to see us out there just kind of being explosive and really just moving the chains, I think we should be scoring 35, 40-something points a game. That's what I expect.
Right, and like you mentioned, we can't forget some of those guys who are in between there, because we've got senior Jamon Osborne and true freshmen, but then we've also got these redshirt freshmen in Dalen Wright and Cam Brown and Chase Lane, all these other guys who came in last year and now have had a year to work with Jimbo Fisher and be inside Jimbo's offense and just be around and training. So let's move on to the other pass catchers. And as a former tight end, it's got to be nice to watch a coach who utilizes the tight end as much as Jimbo Fisher does. And I don't know about you, Jalen Weidermeyer was such a huge surprise to me last season. And unfortunately, with Baylor Cup's broken leg, we didn't get to watch that pan out. But what's your analysis of the tight end room that Jimbo Fisher has going for him right now?
Like you said, it was a big surprise. Last year, I was so excited to see Baylor Cup come in and do his thing, and then he had his little injury or whatnot, which was a bummer. But Weidermeyer came in and he made he did some very good things. I was excited to see him go up and in some of those tough games. I want to say maybe it was Auburn or Georgia. He made a lot of tough grabs, so had a lot of touchdowns. He was very sure-handed, ran well when he caught the ball and got off, broke tackles and whatnot. So I love seeing him build on that. And with Baylor Cup, I like to see him come, like you said, Jimbo uses two tight ends, which I love, getting the disadvantage to the defense, not knowing whether we're going to run, whether we're going to pass. So I like to see him use both of those guys. And like I said, whether it's two tight end sets or if we're going four wide, I like to see both of those guys, make some noise and see what they're going to do. Wademeyer was great, though. I loved what I saw, and I was pleasantly surprised with him.
And we're talking about pleasant surprises with these young guys. And another one for me was Isaiah Spiller. And we look at A&M's run game last year, and kind of not a secret that they struggled a little bit to establish that run game. And it took them some time to finally get over the hump and then eventually move Aniyah Smith to that position. But what kind of excites you most about this group, and what are just your expectations for the A&M running backs in 2020?
Man, Spiller was awesome. He, as a freshman, I don't expect you to come in and start or, kind of get that starting position, but he was kind of putting that in that role, and he kind of exceeded expectations, especially my expectations. He did well. He ran the ball well. And then, like you said, Aniyah it was kind of a thunder and lightning deal where Spiller would get his momentum going and start pounding guys. And then here comes Aniyah coming in real quick and fast. I'm also excited, which I hope this guy gets some playing time, but Devin Akane, the kid we picked up out of Houston, he's explosive as well, has speed that I know Jimbo is excited to see how he can help us out. So with those three guys, our offensive line having, a little bit more experience, I'm expecting, like I said, with the 30 and 40 points a game, I'm expecting our running backs to be 100, obviously 100 plus, but I like to see them in that 200 range between the three of them collectively. I like to see them 200, 250 yards a game. Hopefully our offensive line can open up some holes and allow those guys to make some big plays.
Well, I know we're talking skill positions today, but a big part of the run game starts at the line of scrimmage. And just as an offensive guy, how important is it to dominate the line of scrimmage, especially in a league like the SEC? And do you see the Aggie offensive line taking a big jump in 2020?
I honestly do see us making a jump. And like I said, this is coming from that eternal optimist. But I think with time, there's got to be a lot of growth. And for the offensive line this year, I can't say that we can't do any worse, but I just know that these guys, I know Jimbo has a plan. I know they got to be piecing things together, and we got a great strength coach. So I'm knowing that these guys have been working hard, getting stronger, getting faster, getting better overall. And I'm hoping that they collectively as a unit can just get together and, like I said, make those plays, whether it's a combo block. It's all done up front in the trenches. You got to be able to move. Really, I call it moving furniture. You got to get guys out the way, whether it's double teaming, single block, take care of everybody. So I'm expecting big things from the offensive line, but it starts up front. Without them boys, we're not going to be – Kellen won't have time. Running backs won't have holes. Receivers can't have enough time to get open. So it really starts up front. But I really see these guys coming out and having an awesome year. At least I'm hopeful for that.
Jamie, we've established that you're an eternal optimist, and I'm just curious, with everything going on right now, what's your gut feeling on football season? Second to last week of July, what are you thinking is going to happen?
Man, a couple of weeks ago, I would have said for sure we're going to have football. And then now numbers rising and whatnot, I'm kind of leery. But I would say I think we're going to have a season. It may be pushed back a little bit, which if it is, I'm hoping that, there's that big gap between our last game and then all those bowl games. So I'm hoping that if it is pushed back, maybe once the season ends, you probably have a week or two break before the bowl games, which hopefully we're not even talking about bowl games. I'm wanting us to be in the playoff. That's that eternal optimist coming out of me again.
Amen to that.
I'm hoping that we have a season. I've told a few of my buddies, if we don't get football, I'm letting this beard grow Ricky Williams style. I'm gonna be in a Great Depression.
Well, Jamie, I know you recently started a performance training business working with young athletes. So, real quick before I let you go, how can people get a hold of you?
You can reach me at coachup.com/me/Jamie McCoy. And then on Twitter and Facebook, it's coachup_Jamie McCoy. So anybody feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, next year I'm planning on having a day or two where I'm actually out in College Station. So anybody that's in around this area, Central Texas, I'm willing to meet people, whatever the case may be. But you can reach me that way. And also, I want to say on those websites, my cell phone number's on there. So I'm free. Give me a call, shoot me a text, let me know. I've always got people hitting me up, and I, I try to be pretty understanding and work with whoever it may be.
Well, Jamie, really, really appreciate the time and the insight. We're going to hope for good news, and we'll touch base with you next week.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Leah.
All right, take care, Jamie. That was
All
former
right.
Texas A&M QB turned tight end Jamie McCoy. We're going to take a time out. After the break, we're going to hear some more from Billy Lucci. This is Tex Aggies Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, live on The Zone.